Hey everyone, welcome back to Friday Night Live. This one's for you, John. Here's to the ones that we've got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. All the memories bring back you. There's a time when I remember, when I did not know no pain, when I believed in forever and everything would stay the same. Now my heart feels like December when somebody say your name. Cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know I will one day. Everybody hurts sometime, everybody hurts someday. Hey, everything's gonna be alright when you raise a glass and say, here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. On today, toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. Memories bring back you. Do 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 do. Memories bring back you. What did you find? You're listening to Supernatural Confessions. Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Supernatural Confessions Friday Night Live. I need to get one of those machines that can click and press applause. I think, yeah. That should be what I'll be aiming for this year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. I know I can see that before the show started, all the messages have been flowing up the chat. And, you guys are making donations and all that. Thank you so much. If you are new to Friday Night Live, well, let me know. Leave it in the comment section. Tell me that you're new or where you're from. But for the most of us, I suppose I see all the very familiar names. Welcome back. And as you probably know already by now, if you have not yet known, unfortunately, this year, I will be running Friday Night Live kind of solo. We were supposed to start last week on the 7th of February, right after CNY, with my buddy Jonathan Lim. But sadly, the man with the beard, the man before time, the immortal Jonathan Lim, is with us no longer. And I don't just mean not with Supernatural Confessions, but not of this earth. Now, if those of you who remember last year, one of the Friday Night Live episode, we talked about if someone dies first, one of us dies first, we have that responsibility to come back and tell the co-host what it's like on the other side. I think John did come back with a message for me. First through Belinda, as well as a dream that he told, or the dream that he put in my head. And also that dream is not just a dream, it was later on verified. So tune in all the way to the end of tonight's episode where I will be sharing that message from John to the Supernatural Confessions community. I know most of you are still sad, some of you are still, sobbing, but you know what? We had a good ride with John, and I know for a fact, if John is here right now, you will hear his laughter, because John always laughs. And for those of you who says, why is John always laughing? Whether you love it or not, that laughter is going to be sorely missed. Okay? But no worries. I'm still here to entertain you, bring you on Friday Night Live. Some of you who have been with me since 2019 realize that we have gone through a few era and iterations in Friday Night Live Supernatural Confessions. We started off back in 2019 with, drum roll, anybody want to make a guess? Some of you lao chiao enough would remember my very first host, Team O. And then it became ET and Team O together with the whole Must Be the Hantu versus the EMF, and then with the Dream Team with the four screens, and then also you came with Jonathan just in the last 2 years. So some of the more astute one of you, rather observant, will know that this is the fourth iteration or season 6 or season 7 maybe even. Okay, so let's get the show on the road. We will get to know you guys a little bit more later. And of course, without John in the picture, it's very hard for me to read the comments, narrate the story, and still engage you guys. Okay, so if you would like me to read your comments and you want to stand out, the best way to do so is there is a $sign right below the comment section, right beside it. You can click on the $sign and type whatever you want, and a giant colored box will appear, and I won't miss it. Also, I started something else new this year. Some of you have asked, if you're not into Patreon, is there any other way to support the show? Because you do watch Friday Night Live, and what I can do for you is, or what I've done for you is, there is a Join Now button for YouTube membership. It's only $3. Full transparency here. YouTube takes $1 of my $3. So whatever you give, YouTube takes $1, I take $2. But what you're going to get for that right now, so far, is that you get a nice little icon beside your name so that everyone knows you're a member. And there's 8 different levels to that membership, not tiers in terms of cost, but depending on how long you stay as a member, your little symbols start to evolve over time. And for those of you who are into the esoteric and spirituality, you might recognize the color and you might recognize the symbol that matches your chakra points. Okay? So that is something fun for us to have. I may be putting up some more stuff like emoticons and all that. All these are very new to me, so I'm just figuring it out. Now, for 2025 Supernatural Confessions, we had a few things in store for you. As John and I started planning for this show, we wanted to make some interesting changes. And if you know John, nothing that he ever proposes is without thought. And I do know that John is very meticulous and careful in how he releases stuff. So actually for a good 2 years as we're running Supernatural Confessions, a live show, Ghost Mortem, movie review, and the Walk with Hantu Changi, he has been a very powerful force that fills in a lot of the nuts and bolts that I overlook as a big picture guy. He fills in a very small stuff, but together we create a really great show that I think many of you love. So I'm still going to try my very best to carry on that legacy of John and wonder at every step of the way when I do certain stuff, what would John say? Community comes first. Okay, so changes this year will be done, but I want to do it slowly in parts and not just throw everything in, which is why I think at all, right now, even more than ever, we don't want to change anything because the biggest change is that John is not around. All right, Hamster Burrows, thank you very much for your blessings. Hi, Eugene, thank you for everything you do. I really miss John. May his legacy lives on. A thumbs up on that one. Good, sir. I agree as well. Okay, let's get straight to the comment section. Did I miss anything important? Welcome back, Eugene. We're all with you, bro. Thank you very much, Eugene Chan. Hello, Hunters. You all make more noise. Maybe John will. What? Said a text here. Fun, okay, very cool. Like behind. Again, if I miss your message, I'm terribly sorry. But the best way to get me is put out that big, gigantic ping box like what Hamster Burrows did, and I will not miss it out, okay? And before we start, as always, we like to thank our very, very important people who really make Supernatural Confessions successful throughout the 1 year, 1.5, almost 2 years. We started this Patreon in 2023. Now, in alphabetical order, we have from Sentient tier for our patrons, Alexa O, Alvin Sensei, BBK Kailan, Casey Chan, Chua Eileen, Edwin Lee, epicfishing.com, Eric, Hanjay, Hot Water Bottle, Ibit, Janice Ang, Jerwin, Michael K, Neurologic, Queen Lai, Safon Zainal, SD Lin, Starving Jack, Tengku Alsatian, Mco Grim, Yen Clement, Yong Kwan Yu, ZP Matt. In spirits category, we have Ed A, Ang Han, Anil Shah, Bibi Teo, Kelvin C, Koshka, Don Xie, Deborah Confield, Devin D, DN, Dot Jepeng, Ailey X, Ivan Kwa, Gary Fu, Hamster Burrows, HWT, that's Tehawi, Idris, Isaac Henry Joshua, Ignatius Lam E Chong, and J, Jerry Fish, Jesse Neo, Jia King To, JK, Joel Go, Jujube Jume, Kai C, Karina J, Kenneth Ang, Kenny Polaris, Lechmi, Linda Hayden, Martin Felony, Raven, Rin, Serene Tan, Stephen Leong, T. Wei Shun, T. Amelia, TTB, Y Kiet, Yao Xiu, Yu Mei, Queen Wolf, A. Okay, now to Souls category, AE, N Lim, Candy Chai, Candy Chia, Crimson with C. Shok Team, Love, Supernatural Confessions, a very long name again, Derek Lim, Erickson, Gabriel Kans, Jack Ong, JC, Jenia, Ken Lim, Lin Tang, my dear wife Grace, Nicholas Pua, Rachel Y, Ron K, Sharon Ng, Shi Chieto, Shilin Ng, Stella Chan, and Yvonne Edwin. Thank you very much for being my patron. I can hear my wife laughing from outside. Also, a very wonderful Valentine's Day, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself. But I suppose if you are here on a Friday night at 10 o'clock, you either here watching the live show with your date or you have no date. But don't matter because I will be your date. This is Friday date night, Supernatural Confession style. Okay, so I put up a poll just now and I asked you guys to pick which of the 3 confessions should I read first today. Reason for that is usually John will be the one where I will pass him these stories and I'll say, pick one for me to read. And he'll go like, this one first, this one first, this one first. But since John is not around and you guys are, so why not you pick? And 49% of you pick the married man. The married man, 49% of you. Why? Because scandalous, is it? Okay. Now, before I read, I'd like to tell you something new that we'll be doing today. Okay? I will be giving you a very special hotline number. Some of you may find that number familiar. Okay? I'm not going to reveal too much, but that's a hint of things to come. So pay attention to the narration, pay attention to the story, because after that, you will get a chance to dial that number and join me live on air, giving your own opinions and dissecting with me. Since there's no video and the name is optional, you don't have to be paiseh about who you are, okay? Like you say wrong things and people love you, don't have to be paiseh. Call in and have a discussion with me. How about that, eh? Something new for you guys this year. You have a say, community. Supernatural Confessions, we want to hear from you because you heard from John and I for 2 years. I'm sure you must have learned something. We want to hear what you have to say. Okie dokes. Now, let's start the first narration, The Married Man. Confession by Ellie. I had a long-term relationship in my 20s with a married man. He was loving, kind, and there was really nothing wrong with him except that he was married. In my early 20s, that didn't bother me much because I was still experimenting, and compared to the boys of my age, I felt that I had more to learn and experience with an older man. It was only in my late 20s when I decided that such a relationship wasn't what I wanted anymore, and I suggested that we break up. The split was amicable. He was understanding about it and never tried to hold me back. He did, however, say to me, "I'm not worried. I know you'll come back to me." It did sound quite sexy when he was so confident about it, but at the same time, I knew I was done with this relationship and wanted to settle down with a proper partner that could lead to something more. Then he added, "Nobody will want you. You will come back to me." The last line felt very unnerving. It disturbed me greatly, and it was such an iconic line that I remembered that exact moment he said it till this very day. He also said it so matter-of-factly that I couldn't tell if he wasn't being sarcastic or not. So I just laughed it off. So that was that. We agreed to a cool-down period where we wouldn't contact each other so that we both could move on to meet others. It was only fair. All along, he was kind and supportive, so I never had a reason to suspect anything. I met new people, I went on dates, but each time when the date went well and we tried to get intimate, something would go wrong. I would have my period. I would get some weird discharge. I never had this in my entire life. Other than the married man, I had not slept with anyone else in those 8 years, so I know it's not a sexually transmitted disease or such. I tell it the unusual period cycle to just my body evolving to the situation, or maybe it's work-related stress. Sometimes he would also call me just at the right time to catch up. And I would cancel on a date to go meet him. And we would always end up making love like the old days. We carried on seeing each other for some time, but I also made it clear that I was looking to settle, that if the right one comes along, we had to stop this. He agreed in his usual confident way. When I met anyone new again, my body would act up. It got to a point where the patterns were just hard to ignore. I went for a medical checkup and took some pills to regulate my cycle, but still the pattern would persist. The doctor was baffled too. So I kept going back to my ex, just as he had predicted. When I'm with him, everything was back to normal. On one of my work trips to Taiwan, I went to a temple with my colleagues to pray for blessings. He called me up as I was on the way down and told me I shouldn't go. First of all, he rarely calls. We usually just text. Second of all, I never mentioned I was going to any temple. I'm not the religious or spiritual type. And in fact, it was my colleagues who wanted to go. I was just tagging along. He was adamant that I shouldn't go. Call it divine intervention or just a stubborn personality trait. But when someone tells me not to do something, all the more I would do it. Okay, I promised him I wouldn't go, but just to shut him up. But now I'm hell-bent on going. My colleagues and I took our turns to have our fortune read and receive blessings. When it was my turn, the priestess asked me a series of unusual questions. My colleagues were amused and curious at the same time because they didn't get this treatment, and they were wondering where these questions would lead to. Eventually, the priestess asked if I had trouble with my relationships. I said yes, and then she asked me, do I hear the sound of bells all the time? That hit the nail on the head. I nodded. That was oddly specific because I actually can hear bells ringing in the distance, like one of those Red Cross donation booths at malls, right, during Christmas time. The bell sound is distinct, but over time I learned to live with it, so it just became some background noise. She said it's because I was under a voodoo type spell and was able to describe my ex to me down to his hairstyle and style of clothes that he wore. Now, mind you, this is not something I told my colleagues or anyone. So for the priestess to be that on point, it rattled me a great deal. But to maintain my face in front of my colleagues who were listening in, I told her I don't know anyone like that. She gave me some talisman in a small pouch and told me to keep it with me at all times in my handbag or on my person. Whatever you do, don't go meet him, she said. He knows that we are talking and will increase his binding spell. When I got out of the temple, I saw 50 over missed calls from him. I think in my 8 years with him, we didn't even have 50 calls in total. But in one afternoon, I got 50? Maybe what the priestess said is true. He knows. When I called him back, his demeanor had totally changed. The calm, confident, kind man that I knew was replaced with a loud yelling and name-calling person I don't even recognize. I held the phone in my hand and just listened. I literally trembled. This was very unusual, and with what I just heard a moment ago from the priestess, my thoughts were all over the place. He kept calling and calling through the day and night, but I wasn't ready to speak with him. I barely even know what to think. The next day, when my colleagues were out shopping, I made an excuse that I wanted to rest in a hotel because I was unwell. But I headed to the temple instead. The same priestess attended to me and asked if I wanted to sever the cord with my ex. This was all moving so fast and I had no idea what's going on. I just looked at her and tears rolled down my cheeks. She nodded and told me to sit down and close my eyes while she did her cleansing ritual. During the ritual, I started having visions and sensations all over my body. In those visions, I saw my ex place 2 figurines tied with a red thread into a jar with some brown coloured liquid. There was also a photo of us in the jar, semi-submerged in the liquid. I felt as though a million millipedes were climbing all over my body, up my neck, between my legs, everywhere. I kept shuddering and felt like throwing up. The bell sound in my head grew louder. The priestess also used a bell during her cleansing, but it was different from the one in my head. One I can hear in my ears. The other was just in my head. If you can try to imagine how it feels and sound like. Slowly the vision receded and the millipede sensation went away. I opened my eyes and the priestess smiled at me. She said just 2 words. Hala. It's done. Okay. I still got some more calls from my ex over the next few days, but I ignored all of it. I blocked him even. To his credit, he didn't try to seek me out in other ways or find me in my workplace, which was what I feared the most. It's been 15 years since that fateful Taiwan trip. I'm married now. To someone else, of course. I told my husband about this story too, but he's a non-believer. What to do? I'm glad I found Supernatural Confessions podcast and was able to get this off my chest. All right. Usually I would swap screen, someone would talk, so I get a chance to read the message. Now I have to read the message and see what I missed out. Oh, Lord. Okay. Is it okay to show the script of the confession? I suppose yes, but then you see text on screen. Yeah, we can do it a bit like housekeeping. Maybe that's what I'll do next time. Thank you for the suggestion. What did I miss? Okay. Oh, someone wants to see the new Chris. Okay, Sean, I might have some time to show you the new Chris later. Koshka not doing one breath anymore. Yeah, this is a very John thing, isn't it? Does this feel the same without him telling me, do it one breath, do it one breath? Yeah. Happy Valentines, no date. No date, but Friday night with John and Eugene. Aw. Single FML. Is it FML or FML? Fuck my life. Oh, whoops. Just cannot see. Can WhatsApp call or not? Yes. Please WhatsApp call. Okay? Or call normal phone also can, but WhatsApp call also can. I remember in one episode where John said he wouldn't mind being summoned back using Ouija board. I will tell you about the Ouija board in a bit, before the end of today's show, okay? Yes, kena curse, black magic. Black magic for sure, SARS. Tinnitus, the one where you have a ringing in your ear, is something like that. Except that after the cleansing, the sound is gone. I want that spell, get sugar mummy. I also want. Nabi, sounds so erotic. Only in your head lah, Sean. Jason Lim, thank you very much for your blessings. John, I never left. Just upgraded to stealth mode. John is actually quite close to me, by the way. And I'll explain what that means later on. Eugene, don't play Ouija board. A bit too late, Sean. I just did already 2 weeks ago. Okay, now I'm going to give you a number. Okay? So, when you are ready, I am waiting for you guys. Don't leave me hanging. You'll be really shitty if I give you the number and I wait and no one calls. Okay? So, this is the number I'm giving you guys. Hotline. I'm not going to pin up there in case you start calling non-stop. But every time we break for a story or break for dissection, I will put this number up. Thanks, Jason, for your second joke. You all went makan without me. Walao, must hunt you all liao. Yeah. No joke. Whoa, bochio. Okay, the number is 91480985. I repeat, 91480985. I'm risking this, okay? You'll be really sucky if I give you guys a hotline to call and no one calls. It's like we wait here and operators are standing by. All right, people, don't rush. There's enough time for everyone. Do I need to add any number for Singapore line? Yes. You can do this +65. +65 in front. Four 80985. Ella, you say woo the Simon. I don't know who's going to call. My phone is not ringing. Let me pin this. Yep. While we've live call in, I'm trying. Okay? This is something new. I'm trying to see if it works. Is it on silent mode? No. Just now I tested it works. Why, Carlos call? Do you call? Okay, so I'll tell you. It's not going to come to my phone. I have someone behind the screen, not with me in the house, it's not Grace, who's picking up the call and having a chat with you first before patching it in. Okay? That's the only clue I can give you. People paiseh. Okay lah, paiseh, I cannot have this service anymore lah. Everyone shy. Oh my god. John's going to answer it. Okay. At one point, some people suggested I should have an AI reading out the narration in John's voice. While I love that idea very much, I think that it could also sound quite morbid. in the long term. So yeah, again, let me know if that's something you think is a great idea or not. I think John will love it. You think John will love it? Okay. Maybe on a special episode. Live call is a fantastic idea. I know, right? That's what I thought. But it depends. Let's see who calls in. John answer with Karas Kau Kau. Later on, I will tell you what happened regards to what I felt was a message from John. Okay? So stay tuned to the end of tonight's show. We'll end at 11:30. And, I will tell you a bit more about what happened the following days after John's funeral. He will say shook. He will say shook only if the story is shook. Sometimes it can be quite critical. You're like, Okay, so behind the scenes, right, sometimes there are like 5 confessions and all that. And John will be very pedantic about certain confession or certain length of certain confession. And he'll go like, these 3 are very shook. These 2, how should we put it in, how should we put it inside? Because we want to respect and put every confession out. But we also understand that if you do not place the confession correctly, it will take away the attention from some confessions, because as humans, we will tend to compare, right? So he's very, very cautious and always very mindful about how confessions are treated. And I think we got to respect him for that. He takes a lot of effort. Supernatural Confessions, myself as well, we take a lot of effort and care with the confessions that we have. Also, people are asking about John's cat. What happened to John's cat? Yes, we found John's cat. It was hiding in his house. Both cats are found and they have now been fostered. Also, we want to let you guys know, keep your dates free on the 12th of April. 12th of April. There will be a John memorial ride where we will be riding bicycles supported by Any Wheel Bike from Kallang all the way to Changi, where we will then do a memorial walk. We walk with Hantu Changi all the way to OCH. Yeah. Oh, it looks like. Oh, we have a Penelope Lee. Okay, Sean. Wait, Give me a minute. Sean, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, Sean. Can you hear me? Great. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time we are having our very first call in, and Sean is the pioneer. Which Sean is this?
Yay!
Woo. I gotta get me one of those applause things. Which Sean is this?
Sean Chen.
Sean Chen. Well, Sean, welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, can you guys hear Sean? I just want to be sure that you guys can hear him before we carry on. Someone say woohoo, first caller, so exciting. Great. Okay, Sean, so you are now live with us on air. And what do you think about the confession just now, the married man? What are your thoughts on that?
To tell the truth, I think this is happening more often than not. People are resorting to using supernatural means to get whatever they want these days, because they're just too damn lazy to date the old-fashioned way or to actually get to know someone, as they call it these days, organically. So a trip to the witch doctor seems to be the fastest way to get what you want. But I don't think it's very healthy. No.
But why is it not healthy? Like, say in the case of the married man, right? If she did not walk into the temple, she would not know, and they would have still continued their affair. And she did say that he was a nice guy, he was a loving guy. Ignorance is bliss, isn't it?
I mean, it's not healthy. I mean, first and foremost, okay, not being holier than out. If you're a married man, why are you doing this to other people?
Yeah, I suppose on the moral side of things, that's very debatable also.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, she did say
true
that she was into an experimental stage and she didn't mind it. So willing buyer, willing seller, right?
Yeah, but end of the day, like I said, end of the day, the traction and all those things, you're being inclined to get involved in it. So there's really get involved at all. Yeah, and so at the end of the day, it's just an artificial state of being. It's not real at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Sean, I mean, you're also into the esoteric, right? You have some knowledge of the esoteric, am I right?
The victim myself, as you know, had some help from group morality. Yeah, so involved in this spiritual practitioners, but they're more.
Okay, you're breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit. I'm not able to hear you very clearly.
It's not new to us.
Okay, I hear that you are involved in the supernatural and spiritual side, and it's not new to you, right?
Yeah. Do you hear me? Yeah.
Now I can. Yeah, but where do you draw the line with the?
That's not new to me. I mean, we grew up. I think you shouldn't do things to basically have your free will. I mean, there's ethics and it's not meant to be. Man, hey, get a life.
No, but where do we draw the line with with using magic? Like, if we, I mean, in this case, we use magic on love. We kind of deny people free will. But what about using magic for business or using magic for 4D luck? Where do we then draw the line of using? I'm breaking up. Are we breaking up?
I mean, if you ask, no, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. If you ask me, I mean, if we do get involved in magic airy-fairy, you should help people that are sick and stuff like that.
Okay. Sean, are you there? You sound like you just dropped out. I think Sean, are you breaking up with me? I can't hear you, Sean. Sean's gone! Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking more calls. Maybe one more call before go on to our next confession. Sean, I thank you so much for your comment. Sean says it's unethical. We should not use magic for relationships. He tried to explain about using magic for other things. I can't really hear him. But I think the question I have is, where is that line? But more importantly, about this particular confession, what are your thoughts? Is there any idea about what magic are we dealing with, or what magic that the boyfriend had cast, if any of you are familiar with that magic, or any of the potential law that in your culture, wherever you are from, that is similar to this? Well, give me a call, let me know. My number is right on top. It is +65 91480 985. Dexy, don't talk about breaking out on V-Day leh. Pantang, is it? Nasi kangkang. Okay, we'll talk about nasi kangkang later. I'm assuming that most of you know what nasi kangkang is, right? Anyone don't know what nasi kangkang is? Please let me know in the comment section so I can address it. All right, I'll give you a couple more minutes to call in. If no one calls in, I'll just go to the next confession. The time now is 10:40. You know what? I'm going to go to the next confession. Those who are listening in right now, and you are tempted to call, don't worry, we're not showing the video, it's just your voice. The number to call is +65 91480 985. Agent Chua is asking what is nasi kangkang. Sepak you one time. You who've been here with the show so long, don't know what nasi kangkang is. Okay, I'll explain that for the rest of people. Foxfu, thank you very much for Jonathan's 4D winning. Okay. Foxfu. I'll talk about that later too. In case some of you don't know, the number for Jonathan's hearse came out on one of the week he passed away. Jonathan's home address came out second prize. Okay? Did I buy? No, I did not. Again, more on that later on. Thank you very much, Fox. Hello, I want to give thanks but cannot do purchase. Hello for now. Tristan, thank you very much, sir. Your fifth super. I only know what is kangkong. There's an Indian type of love magic called sama masam. Okay, like earlier, I do not know that. You want to call in and talk to us about that? Okay, while the rest of you pluck up your courage to call in, I'm going to go to my second highest voted narration, which is Totally in Love. Right. Or the numbers pinned to the top of the comment section. After I finish this narration, call in and have a chat with me, all right? Confession by Jane Doe. After 8 long years, I finally managed to break the bonds that my ex-boyfriend had over me and started a new relationship. Even so, there are still remnants of what he had placed in my body still having an effect on me till today. When I first met my ex, he was one of my customers, and then he started coming often enough to be a regular. At first, he was quite shy and actually asked my colleague for my number. My colleague told him to get it from me directly, which he reluctantly did. When he first approached me, I gave him my number out of courtesy because I didn't want to reject. Oh, sorry. So one of you wanted me to put in the script. Okay, I'll do this next episode. I cannot do it now. When he first approached me, I gave him my number out of courtesy because I didn't want to reject or be rude to one of my shop's regulars. After all, one dinner wouldn't hurt, right? He was by all accounts average looking, dressed in a tee and jeans with a cap. Typical Singaporean dressing lah. I don't even know what he was working as. Looks wise, not unpleasant, but also nothing that stands out in my memory. What I'm trying to describe is that if he's just one of the few men standing in a room, I wouldn't have registered his presence. But somehow, after that one dinner date, I went back home and couldn't stop thinking about him. The intensity was so overwhelming that I simply wanted to submit to him and be by his side every single minute. And being apart gives me an actual physical ache in my heart. With boys, I usually play it cool and I'm never the one to make the first move. I'm not trying to be hiao bai lah. Like I don't intend to be shameless here. But I really got a queue of guys hitting on me one lah. But that time, 8 years ago, all I could think of, where is it? Oh. But that time, 8 years ago, all I could think of was this guy. Morning wake up, I texted him. At work, got free time, I would text him. Before sleep, I would text him. And the strangest thing of all was that when I fingered myself, I could only see his face in my fantasy and no one else. At that time, of course, I couldn't tell that this was magic, right? I felt 100% and totally in love. To me, I found my soulmate. We were together for 5 years. I went through all sorts of shit. It's too painful and embarrassing to share the details, but all I can say is I did everything he asked of me. Everything. Even things that were demeaning and humiliating. I would do it as long as he told me that and that it would please him. The 5 years with him was a blur. Looking back, I really couldn't account for the long 5 years. My memory is hazy and I can only recall the overarching emotional state and recurring things. Everything else was such a blur. What I can remember clearly was him treating me like his slave. There was none of that shy boy I saw in him at the beginning. Some days he would ignore me and I would cry my eyes out because I missed him so much. Or he would threaten to leave me, if at all, if I say or do anything that pisses him off. And anything could trigger him. And then I would grovel and beg for him to stay. I literally could feel that without him, I would actually just kill myself. When he got jealous that I was talking to male customers at the shop, I quit my job just to appease him. He would also be angry if he texted and I didn't reply immediately. So I make it a habit to check my phone every minute. I had moved in with him already by that time, so I would just stay at home and wait for his text or for him to come home. Nearing the end of the 5 years with him, he made me get intimate with his friends for him to film. Blindly, I just did as I was asked to. But after a few months of that, he got distant and didn't want to touch me anymore. I was confused. Mental, emotional, and physical wreck. And then one day, just like that, he kicked me out of the house and brought another girl home. My world fell apart. I wanted him so badly, that despite all that he had done to me, I went to a Malay bomo for help to cast a spell to bring him back to me. That's how desperate I was. But that's when I learned that there was already a spell in play. The bomo said he could see a female spirit and many barang inside my body. And these things have been placed there over the years, that if we were to take it out now, all at one go, it might be too much for my body to take. The shock to my system might kill me, or at best, leave me in a vegetative state. At that time, still blinded by the spell, I didn't want to believe anything the bomo had to say. I remember yelling out that he was a con job. The bomo said he could lift the spell for a moment, just for me to get my clarity and then decide for myself if he was telling the truth. After he did that, for the first time in a long time, I got back all my senses. I felt my true feelings about him, about me, about the things I had done. Everything. It broke me. The realization had weakened my ex's spell on me. Now my brain and heart are at conflict. But at least this was a step forward. The next 3 years was spent pulling out the barang inside me one by one. I probably spent tens of thousands of dollars for rituals on borrowed money because I hadn't been working and had no money at all in my bank account. Frankly, I don't even know how I became so broke. Like I said, zero collection. Thankfully, I had one close friend who I managed to salvage the relationship with so that I could call upon for help. He also drove me down and accompanied me to the bomo for these cleansing services sessions. The first 3 sessions were exceptionally bad. My friend videoed the whole thing, and I was able to see for myself what went on during the exorcism. The spirit or the jinn manifested itself, and I was growling and trying to claw at the bomo. He held me at bay with his tongkat, a walking stick, and he kept summoning the spirit to come out, but he refused. And when he finally did, I doubled over and puked out long strands of hair. Literally, chunks of hair, strands about 1 meter in length, had to be pulled out from my mouth. And that is just one layer, the bomo said. The next session was to extract needles from my private area. That was the worst. The pain was excruciating. Imagine going to the dentist to have a root canal without anesthetic, except the pain is down there. The bomo said the spell my ex cast on me was from an ancient Javanese practice and that he had used his magic on me indiscriminately. The magic was passed down to him through lineage because one of his ancestors did good for the people and attracted the attention of a jinn who made a vow to protect the family line. But instead, when it came to my ex, he abused it to do his bidding without any real thought or for consequences. Apparently, the bomo was able to speak with my ex's ancestral spirits and the jinn that was used to bind me to him. He said that the jinn was as much a prisoner to me as I am to him. To break such a bond would be to break an ancient ancestral vow that required more rituals and more money and more time. The good news was that my ex no longer was interested in me and thus there was no more topping up of barang into me. Now I just need to purge out the remainder of the spell. Without ongoing empowerment, the spell will eventually fade in time. Maybe 10 to 20 years later. The other good news is that I'm now working again and I met someone at work and started a relationship with. I know what you're thinking. Hadn't I learned my lesson about dating customers? This one is different. It also helps that he loves me more than I love him and totally adores me. It's nice to be loved for a change. From time to time, I still dream and yearn to go back to my ex. I will break down and cry. it's not even my emotions. But I've learned to manage those emotions, and whenever I feel that episode coming, I would excuse myself to the toilet to ride out that wave. My current boyfriend doesn't know anything about my past, and I intend to keep it that way. So please don't divulge where I work, or it would be easy to trace back to me. I know, Eugene, you also want the videos of the exorcism, but unfortunately, after viewing it, I made my friend delete the footage. I hope by sharing my experience, it will help other victims realize that sometimes they need to believe that even though we are in 2025, there is still such a thing as magic. All right. It seems that we got someone on the line. Well, Augustus, welcome to the show. You are now live with me.
It's not meant to be. Hey, get a life.
Not meant to be, get a
We
life.
draw the line, we're not using magic. In this case, use magic on love, kind of deny people free will. But what about using magic for business, using magic for 4D love? Where do we then draw the line? I'm breaking up.
Hello?
Are we breaking?
Hello.
Yeah. I can hear you. Okay. If you ask me, if we do.
Hi.
I wonder if is it on my side or is there a tech error?
I don't know. Are you hearing me?
Oh, now I can hear you loud and clear. What happened?
I don't know.
Okay, so now I can hear you. Let's go ahead.
I saw that earlier on it was muted for a while.
Okay, now you are live. I can hear you loud and clear. Augustus, right?
Oh, okay. Hi.
Wait, I hear two voices. Are you Augustus?
Hi, this is Augustus, yes.
Okay, Augustus. I seem to hear another sound at the back. Mystery operator.
I think it's on my laptop actually.
Oh, you're okay. Yes.
I think it's my laptop.
Okay, you got to mute your laptop for a bit.
Yes, I just did.
Okay, Augustus, one more time. Welcome back to Supernatural Confessions. I hear that your first opening line was, if it's not yours, it's not yours.
Yep.
So no use of magic for love or any other thing for that matter.
For me, the only magic I believe in is the charm of the person.
Oh, meta lah. Like it would just improve your charisma.
Yes.
Okay.
If you have it, you have it. You don't have it, then that's it, It's either you practice more or you move on.
Okay. Well, I think most of us would, at least I agree with you, that not to use magic. If magic, so where I draw the line is this, right? Like, as spiritual practitioners, we tend to use spiritual energy or blessings to boost certain things. I draw the line that if anything that I cast affects someone negatively or denies someone of that free will, to me, that's where I draw the line. Where do you draw your line?
I agree. I agree with you on that, yes.
Are you a practitioner yourself?
No. I listen, I watch, but I stay at a distance.
It's just Friday Night Live lah. Just listen to stories and that's it. Safely stay arm's length away.
Yes, that's what I do.
Okay. So, Augustus, did you hear the second story that we talked about with regards to the one where the girl was puking out hair? She was like madly in love with the guy, and she had to go through a cleansing ritual that cost tens of thousands of dollars. Did you hear that particular confession just now?
Actually, I didn't hear that part of it. I only heard the other one.
The first one, the one about when the girl went to the Chinese temple and then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, do you have any law or your thoughts about that besides the ethical side of the confession?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it is not a if, like I said, if it's used to control somebody or it impacts somebody in that manner, I think it's not the right thing to do. What should be done, in fact, is, like I said, the only magic is your own charm, right? If you can convince the girl or the guy, based on what you can do, then I think that is the best magic of all.
But what if, Augustus, you're able to get away with it and not get caught? Like if you have the ability to go against it. No.
It will be on my conscience.
I get it. I feel you, because at the end of the day, you're answerable to yourself, and if you cannot sleep at night based on your own actions, you're your worst enemy, right? Okay.
And I do not want the other person to love me because I, control the person, that kind of thing. I want a person to do it because they want to.
Oh, okay. That is another thing that you pointed out that I feel you as well. Like, if I am in a relationship with somebody, I would like to know that you love me because you love me, and not because you love me because the Arjan made something for you.
Yes.
Right? And how long can it last?
Correct. Well, that's why I said the charm must continue. That's why they say that, if you love somebody, you do not, go after her, and then after that, when you get the person, you just, let it be. You have to keep on renewing it. That's why Valentine's Day is there. But then again, Valentine's is every day for me, right? Although I don't have somebody with me right now, but I do believe that, if I do have, I would actually do that every single day for her.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck the gentlemen. Ladies! Come on. Augustus is on the line right now. It's Valentine's Day every day. I'm going to get Augustus' number. So, if you want a romantic man who not going to use a spell on you for sure, it's going to be Valentine's Day every day, call me. I take a 10% cut. Whatever.
Just to add in one thing. To me, romance is unique.
Oh. So
the person must be able to accept my kind of romance.
Okay, I'm curious. I know this is not Supernatural Confessions realm anymore, but what's your kind of romance, Augustus?
What I mean is that the way I behave with the person, right? If you do not think that it's romantic, then it will never be romantic, because it has to, come together. It has to match like a jigsaw puzzle. If I can actually trigger that feeling in you, then that means that is romance. Otherwise, you will become the most hated person because you are irritating the other party.
Yes.
Isn't that true? I mean, isn't that true? Most of the time, that's what's happening. Right? If you don't like the person, that person is irritating. Even though whatever he's doing, buying you flowers, chocolate every day, but it doesn't work. Means it doesn't work.
Augustus, women are the most hardest, complicated creature to understand, because what you do from specimen A and you do exactly of what works for specimen A to specimen B, it may just backfire. There's no one size fit all.
I agree with you totally.
Okay, so
but I said the only way for them to
go ahead. Go ahead. The only way, go ahead.
The only way, like I said, is that if I do what I do and you can accept me, then that's it. That's me. That's our so-called romance in that sense. But if you cannot, then let me know and we will part as friends.
Wow, this is very mature. I know this is Supernatural Confessions. We talk about ghost stories, but we open the lines up for calls, and it's taking in every different which way. I kind of love where we're going right now. Against my better judgment, and I know how this is going to be. I'm curious myself. I don't want to ask you, Augustus. This is like typical dating question, right? Like, so Augustus, so if you were to plan a perfect romantic date, what would it be? A perfect date night. A perfect date night. Like what you said, some girls may like it, some girls don't. Totally agree.
Okay, the only perfection is when everything goes screw up.
The only perfection if everything goes screw up.
Right. Now, why I say that is because when it screw up and then I'm able to resolve every single problem, then it becomes perfect.
So no problem in the date means not exciting lah.
It's boring.
Oh. Right.
I like surprises also sometimes, when you go out and then you go out with a person, you get to do something that is different from every other day. That keeps the interest going. Okay.
So, ladies, call me. My number is 9459. I'll hook you up with Augustus. Augustus, his green flag all the way. He's going to romance you every single day. It's going to be Valentine's Day. But also, do note, Augustus likes a bit of drama in his life. If it's too smooth sailing, it's not fun. All right. Thanks, Augustus. Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right. If you guys got any more comments about the second confession, and this one is with regards to totally in love, where the victim of the black magic spell was head over heels in love with the boyfriend, only to be abused, mistreated, and exploited. And even after the breakup, because the man who cast a spell on her had a gift from lineage, but he abused it. And despite even knowing that it was a spell, it was entirely hard to break out from. Let's discuss about this particular confessions. The number is +65 914 80985. The time is 11 o'clock. We are definitely going to go past 11:30, but this is the first episode after all. I've got a surprise guest to bring up on our screen later on. And also to tell you more about Jonathan's message from the other side. Okay, so giving you guys 30 seconds to call in before I move on to the last confession. How did all the hair and needles get into her without her knowing? Okay, Angie Shu. Now, if you know anything about black magic, there's some black magic, especially from Indonesia, even Thai, for example, that would cast a spell using insects, centipede, hair, and if it is Malay magic, needles are usually involved. And they would actually cast a spell and blow it into your direction, either through your photo, knowing your birth date, your birth time, or in this particular case, I believe it was fed into her food and then she consumed it over the course of many years. Now, if you remove logic from that idea that, how can hair just grow and pull out 1 meter long, I would agree with you that prior to doing supernatural confessions, all this would sound in the realm of fantasy, but having videoed, come up close and personal with Ustad, with Ajans who have cleansed black magic, I have seen things with my own eyes, sometimes either filmed or unfilmed, where needles would appear, hair would come out. Or in the case of someone who was cleared of a black magic recently that I filmed, he pooped out what was a wooden fetus, a wooden shaped fetus. So hard to explain. Another lady had to pull out an animal skin or animal bone from her vagina and it tore. So all this, unfortunately, are very real, not as uncommon as we think. It's just not documented. And for obvious reason, I cannot bring my camera and put it in their face and say, please confess, and then I take your story, right? So take my word for it, it happens. The how of it is all magic. Okay.
We got Ili on the line.
We've got Ili on the line. Ili. Welcome to Supernatural Confessions.
Hello.
Hello, Ili.
Yeah.
Ili, is Eugene here. Welcome to Supernatural Confessions.
Sorry,
You are now live.
Thank you. Yeah, this is Ilya Monalisa from the chat room.
Yes, Ili Monalisa.
Victoria.
You're not Singaporean, are you?
No, I'm not.
Where are you from? Where are you calling us from?
I'm from next door to Singapore. I'm in Bintan right now.
Ah, okay. So can hear you loud and clear. You have something to comment about our second confession?
Yeah. As I touched on in the chat, it kind of sounds like an Indonesian type of magic spell, Jaran Goyang. It is different from the previous one, the Semar Mesem, because Jaran Goyang typically make the person prone to be abused. So I heard. I don't know. I'm not a practitioner.
Sure. I mean, but you are in Indonesia, so you would have some knowledge of Indonesian magic, at least probably more than any of us here, right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I just heard stories about that. Also grew up with stories about the love potion in general is called PayLah
Keret.
in Indonesian, right?
Okay.
PayLah.
How does it work?
If I'm the person that, so if I'm the one that wants to attract you, I'm using susu, remember?
So to make yourself look beautiful, right? You put needles in your face just to make yourself look beautiful. Okay. But in this case, it's more than susu, right? Because you are pulling the other person to you, more than just making yourself look beautiful.
Yeah, but Susuk works more for general people, right? While PayLah works specifically to target one person. Like if I want to attract you, then I put PayLah on you, love spell or something like that. It is different from Santet. Santet is more like because I hate you, I want to do something bad to you. But PayLah is more like I want you to be in love with me.
How common is
Like
PayLah in Indonesia? Is it easy to get? Like, is there a service that people can just go to very, very easily, or is it underground?
Honestly speaking, it is quite easy. But of course, there are some rituals that you have to do, some sacrifice that you must make. But if you know the right people, it is quite easy.
Ilya, do you know the right people? Is that a yes? Have you tried, Ilya? Okay.
I'm not a saint.
I mean, no one knows who you are. No one knows who you are. You can just be very honest with us. Have you tried it? So yes lah. So how was it? Tell us your story. Did it work? Did you get found out? Like what happened?
I couldn't do the rituals because apparently if you were born with certain type of I have some supernatural things going on in my family, but so it doesn't work. I couldn't because the guardians or whatever it is cannot allow it or whatever. I'm not sure.
Okay. So you say there's something
But I
supernatural
least
in your
have
family.
experience.
Is that something that is
Yeah.
like a good spirit that prevents you from doing dark rituals, perhaps?
Yeah, like the familiar spirit. Yeah, somehow. I don't have the power to see things like my sisters, but there is that line in our family. So, but still, yeah.
You know, Ilya, after you telling me
I
all
got
this,
exposed.
right?
Oh,
No, you didn't get exposed. No one knows who you are. And you said you never go through the whole spell also, right? So yeah, nothing happened. What? You never get exposed. Okay, but I cannot let you go after knowing all that your sisters can see spirits and everything. You must have had supernatural experiences. Are you able to share one story with us live right now?
I'm already shaking right now because I'm not usually talking so much about this thing. I'm not really comfortable type of
Sure.
curse. I some people might see it as a blessing, but I see it as a curse in our family.
Okay, explain that to me.
It's
Why
not
you
comfortable yet.
think it's a curse? Because it protects you. It prevents bad things from happening. It prevents you from doing a bad thing. I would make the assumption that it's actually a good spirit, perhaps. No.
It is, but the burden of knowing there are other things that we can see that we cannot explain to other people is just, for me personally,
Yeah.
it is difficult for me when I see things and I get frozen and I couldn't tell anyone because nobody sees. Right? I couldn't make peace with that connection yet, so I'd rather not to say I can see stuff.
No, but Elia, you are
In my daily
in
life.
Supernatural Confessions and you are in a safe space with friends. And at the most that you're exposing is just your YouTube tag. Is there something that you want to get it off your chest and tell us what you experienced with your community that would believe you? Because I can guarantee you, everyone here hearing you right now would believe you. And if someone is foolish enough to shoot off his mouth and insult you, I will kick ban that motherfucker straight away. So you are in a safe space. You want to share something with us to get it off your chest?
I'm not ready yet.
Okay.
Maybe next time when I have more courage.
For sure. Even the community says, Alvin Tan says, don't pry her lah. Never pry lah, Alvin. Never pry. Ask only. Huh? I'm asking the questions you guys are going to ask. Anyway, but Elliot, thank you so much. You've been so brave for coming up here, even telling us the stuff that you told us. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I hope that you have a much smoother life in 2025 and may only good things come to you.
Thank you. Likewise to you too and your family. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye, Elia. All right, and now we come. Oh my God, it's 11 o'clock, 11:09. I've come to my final confession. The guys that you guys vote the list is called the Phantom Rapper. And right after that, I'm going to be bringing my special guest up with me on show tonight. Any guesses who it might be? Because just now, you guys actually heard his voice. Any ideas? Okay, we'll find out later on. Okay. The Phantom Rapper. Confession on behalf of Ida. The story is something my wife shared with me. At first, I didn't believe her and figured it was just some part of her past she's ashamed of and didn't want to acknowledge. But it's been 25 years that she's maintained her story and I'm beginning to believe her. When I met my wife, she was heavily pregnant with a child. But I fell in love with her so deeply that it's enough for me to marry her proper a year later, even though the child wasn't mine. Regarding her child, all along, when I asked her about it, she insisted that there was no father. But she got pregnant anyway. I took it as that it was her way of cutting the ex-boyfriend out of the picture, and frankly, that worked fine for me. According to her, this was what happened. My wife was working at a large international logistic company, and there was a male colleague that would go around hitting on all the female colleagues in the office. My wife would spurn his advances, as did many other female colleagues, but he wasn't an unattractive man. It was just that he tried too hard and came across as sleazy. It also didn't help that he seemed to have a reputation for having a string of short-term relationships with girls from various departments. One time, he even told my wife, after yet another rebuff, that it was all right if she didn't want to go out with him because he was going to get her either way. And then he laughed and walked away. That night, and every other night for a month straight, my wife would have dreams of that sleazy colleague having sex with her. In her dreams, she remembered being a willing participant. But when she woke up from that dream, she would be reeling with disgust. The following month, my wife, who has a very consistent menstrual cycle, missed her period. When her period still hadn't come the following month, and she started feeling bloated and uncomfortable, her mom brought her to the doctor for a checkup, and that was when they learned that she was pregnant. She was only 22 then, and had only one boyfriend prior, but they had already broken up for almost a year, and there had been no other lovers in her life since. My wife was convinced that this mysterious pregnancy had something to do with the dreams that she had. At work, when she bumped into the male colleague, he would give her a knowing grin. He also no longer made any advances towards her in office like before. According to my wife, the way he behaved was like he already owned her. The way he would walk past her and look her up and down, undressing her with his eyes. And this was her exact words. During the second to third month before my wife went to see the doctor, the male colleague had come up to her in office one day and said, "Hey, now that you're having my kid, you should call me Abang, isn't it?" My wife was appalled and didn't know how to respond. He walked away laughing, the same creepy way he always did. No one knew of the pregnancy then, not even my wife. Thinking back on this bizarre exchange, she was even more convinced that the dreams weren't just a figment of her imagination. Her parents didn't buy into the story and insisted that she got married to whatever secret lover who had knocked her up, or she had to leave home. They were not having this shame in their family. My wife stayed with a friend who put her up temporarily, and it was through that friend that I met my wife to be. She was a meek girl, a proper girl, not like one of those havoc types. She was a petite woman with a small frame, so the baby bump wasn't very obvious yet. 4th month onwards, the male colleague suddenly did not show up for work. Words got around that he was charged for rape. I don't have the details of that, but from what my wife remembers, there were reports from another male colleague who had also had dreams of him, and one other woman reported being pregnant in the same manner. She was married, and naturally that became such a big issue, she had to report the incident to the police, and apparently that led to an investigation that led to his arrest. But because this entire fiasco was hush-hush, most of the information that my wife got was through the grapevine. She tried reaching out to the other lady, but the lady didn't want to elaborate further, or maybe she wasn't allowed to. All right. All 3 confessions done. Perhaps it's time to bring out my mystery guest tonight. Who do you think is my mystery guest? Some of you said Dr. KY, Dr. Yong Kwan Yu. No. Some of you said Alvin De Cruz. Close, but no. Why? Because handling operation, is it? Any other guesses who my mystery guest is tonight? I don't know if he's ready, man. Bro, are you ready for tonight? Oi. Okay, you need to turn on your video. Okay, hold on. Let me turn on this. Let me turn on this on, right? Mystery Man, you are now live with me. Let them hear your voice, sir.
Good evening, Eugene.
Oh wow, such deep voice, man. Someone says Mary Mike. Someone says E.T.
It's not the EMF.
Michaela Liz says Apex. Nope. I think somebody got it right. Somebody got it right.
Who got it right?
NG Shu got it right. Someone says Sneaky Sushi, please lah. Sneaky Sushi don't have this kind of voice lah. Timo, brother!
What's up? Okay. First, so I have to apologize. Tonight we were doing the calls, right? We haven't done this before. Okay, so I was also having some issues patching stuff through the board. But how did it turn out in general?
I felt it was great. I mean, it took the conversation different ways that I did not expect. But I think more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, you, the community members, you need to tell us whether that was something that you enjoyed. Was it good? Was it something that, you couldn't hear anything? Do we need to bring that live call back? Because Lord knows, Tim and I is like, we don't know who's going to call. We don't know the tech issues. That's going to be very, very flimsy. But I guess...
Yeah, you wanted to keep it a secret some more, right? So the line you guys were actually calling on was the RPS hotline, okay? But I didn't want people to know when they were WhatsApping in that they were calling the RPS hotline. So I had to last minute quickly change the profile picture, change the name on the profile. And I think some people were like, hey, what are we calling a scam call?
You call us, not we call you guys. Team, oh, my buddy is so nice. Are we both wearing denim jacket?
I think we're wearing the same Uniqlo denim jacket some more.
Oh my God, this is like a blast from the fucking past, man.
Yeah, how is everyone doing tonight?
Man. Yeah, let us know in the comment section. Now, hey, Tim, for those who are new to Supernatural Confessions or Friday Night Live, and
nobody is new to Supernatural Confessions. Everybody's been following this for years.
Wow, RPS, haven't heard your podcast. What happened, bro? I'm a fan of your podcast too.
Busy, ET is busy, everyone's busy, but we're going to be doing something special next week. And of course, I'll let Eugene spill the beans on that. It will be a collaboration.
Oh my. Every time Team O and I get together, we come up with just crazy ass ideas. Okay, so since Timo brought it up, I think I should kind of spill the bean right now. I'm not going to give you the entire details, but I would love for the Supernatural Confessions community, for both SC fans and Radio Paranormal Singapore, RPS fans, to set aside 23rd. That's next Saturday, right? Did I get the name right? The date right?
20 what?
23rd of February?
Is it 23rd or 22nd? Wait,
22nd, sorry, 22nd. 22nd of February is a Saturday. Keep your 7 plus p.m. to probably 11 plus p.m. free, because Timo, myself, and a few other faces and voices that you would find familiar will be coming together.
And this is something, right, that we've been excited to do for a very, very long time. Okay. Just to give some context, this idea came up, I think, when Eugene was doing that investigation at Sinming.
With
You remember?
Cy Wilson, right?
With Side Wilson,
Yeah.
right? And then, so I was watching it as well. And I was like, you know what would be awesome? The only thing missing, right, is to actually have hosts, handling all the hard work in the aircon environment, while the guys like Eugene are doing the easy job of actually being on site and having to traverse the terrain and do the actual investigation.
Tough job on your team,
Yeah.
Sitting down at the
So-
chair can't be easy.
So we talked about it and we were like, it would be great if we could actually turn this into like one of those TV shows that we grew up with, right? Where you get people who are in the bunker, in the command center, talking and then cutting to different cameras from people who are actually on the ground. And years ago, you would never be able to even consider doing something like that. But I think now, due to modern technology, thanks to the setup that we've already been doing, we really needed to try to do this. And so we have finally put aside a date to actually do this. And I think we have the equipment and we have the personnel to actually pull it off as well.
22nd of February, 7:30 p.m. till late. Catch us both streaming live on Supernatural Confessions YouTube channel, as well as Radio Paranormal Singapore Facebook page. Where can we find you, Tim?
Just look for RPS, Radio Paranormal Singapore, on Facebook.
And also congrats for RPS being one of the top podcasts that we can find on Spotify coming out of Singapore.
Is it really? I didn't even know that.
Because every time I listen to paranormal stuff, they will say, do you also
If you
want-"
like Supernatural Confessions, you may also like Radio Paranormal Singapore.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, click on it. I was like, where's the damn new content, bro? We need new content.
It's hard lah.
Yeah. It's tough, guys. I mean, to the audience, because this is Friday Night Live, we get to talk about behind the scenes stuff. When you just listen to an hour and a half show tonight, the preparation time, the interview time, and that's just me. If you talk about Team O, who's like pretty much my mentor when it comes to podcast cutting, oh Lord, the guy is like even more pedantic than me and John combined when it comes to the quality of audio. Like, John, Tim, tell us how you do it for RPS.
I can sense the PTSD coming from you. All the post-traumatic. Why are you cutting in? No, later you got to cut. No, you got to sound this far away from the microphone.
Correct.
You're ruining the audio.
Tim will always say back then, right? So behind the scenes, right? Because back then we didn't have this beautiful mic and all that. I'm not sponsored by them, so I don't going to tell you the brand. But Tim says the phone gotta be less or at least up to 6 inches right below your lips, under your chin. And
Well,
this is
you're
how-
very familiar with 6 inches, right?
That's, half the length I am lah. So that's how I measure. Me and 6 inch.
And also, we had to do this because when we first started doing Supernatural Confessions years ago, a buddy down here forgot to actually plug the microphone in, and we went on our very first stream. And the story has been told many, many times. We went on, just went on and on and on, like 2.5 hour long stream. And then after that, when we played it back, we're like, hey, you didn't plug in the microphone.
I did. I plugged in the microphone into the headphone jack. If you guys want to know what Tim is talking about, go to supernaturalconfessions.com. Go on the About Us, and go down, scroll it down. There's actually a history of SC where I give homage and tribute to the beginning of SC all the way to where we are now. And in one of the link, It says first ever podcast. Click on that and you'll hear us with the lamp, the lamp in your KTV room.
Didn't even have proper lighting. We had to use like those desk lamps that come in the condominium karaoke room.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Good times.
And,
wow, it's been so long already.
Camellia is saying, I still remember older SC podcast episode where Tim managed to convince Eugene a new mic.
Yeah. Yeah. But did you catch the episode as well where Tim gifted Eugene his first pair of headphones?
That's right. I was just about to go with that. Not just the headphones, it was also with the pop filter because apparently my P's and T's were popping and it was unprofessional.
Yeah, there you go. See, now you sound like the true audiophile you were meant to be.
But I gotta give gratitude to the person who brought me to this level of quality. Tim, you're the man when it comes to audio, and a lot of times, even till today, I suffer from that PTSD. Was thanks to you, and for the quality that we have right now on SC, this is the man that made it all happen. Carlos Cole said, "I remember that." Angela
Carlos Cole. That is a name I haven't heard of in a long time.
Right.
How you doing, Carlos? You ready for part 2? Yeah. Just I know we're talking cock a little bit, but for those who do not know what was going on, we used to have to divide our stories depending on how long they were into part 1 and part 2. Carlos would just lose his mind. He'd just go bananas, right? It's like, no, don't make us wait for part 2.
Oh my God. This is a trip down memory.
Anyway, we talked so much, right? We were actually supposed to talk about... Wait, before we talk about what we're going to do, this special thing that we're doing next week, you want to maybe dissect the story that we just came out of? Yeah.
Segueing back to the confession that we had. Now, to remind everyone what the story was about is the phantom rapist. I didn't want to put rapist there. I put rapper because obviously if I put rapist, all you sick motherfuckers are going to choose that as the first story to talk about. So, with regards to the story Phantom Rapist, it was about a woman who was working in a company, and I guess this was back way before the Me Too movement, so that you can have sleazy male colleagues hitting on you, and there was nothing much you could do with regards to HR. So apparently, not just hitting on the female colleagues, it seems that he was actually able to go into their dreams, have physical sex with them, and even made not one but 2 co-workers pregnant. The first lady, the confessor that was pregnant, she was a bit meek and she didn't tell anyone. She was ashamed and she got kicked out of the house. But apparently the second woman who was pregnant was a married woman. And I guess she had a lot of answering to the husband. And so when she went to report this case, they called him up. One thing led to another. Based on the investigation, he was then hauled off to court for a rape case. And that was the end of it. But a lot of what happens after that was hush. We don't really know. And we kind of want to invite you guys to call in right now and chat with both Tim and myself on what you think about this particular confession. Phone lines are now open. The number to call is, Tim, do the honors, please.
I don't even memorize.
+65 9148 0985. I memorized it already.
Go. Good job. Good job. Okay, while we wait for your calls, what did you think? I mean, the first time you read this, what did you think?
I felt that there may be a case where people were maligned for things that did not happen because there's so much disbelief in the community now that paranormal, supernatural, the immaculate birth cannot exist. And I also can imagine the other flip side is how many ladies out there would use this to their advantage now after hearing this confession.
That is true.
You go like, honey, I'm pregnant, but it's not me.
I know, right? I mean, look, we're cynical. Let's face it, we're cynical. If somebody told you, I'm pregnant, but it was immaculate conception, you'd never believe. You'd be like, yeah, sure. That's like as believable as, it wasn't me. The Shaggy song? Even if you get caught, up to no good, you just be, it wasn't me. And you just stick with the story forever. But that said, though, a lot of how she was describing this guy, about how he seemed to have so much confidence. He said, oh, you may run from me, but I will get you sometime.
Yeah.
It also sounds a lot like what a pickup artist would do. I don't know if you've been reading a lot, or because now it's very big, right? They've got podcasts how to pick up women, how to develop that self-confidence, that self-esteem, and if you want to win some girl over, you need to exude confidence.
I don't know about any of that.
Really, you were the one who lent me the book. But anyway, they always say it starts with confidence. You know, when you talk to a woman, you
You
must
assume you
must-
already got her
yes,
already.
that
That's
you
where
already
position.
got her,
Yeah.
right? And you know that's how you inception into her mind. You know, you've put that thought into her mind that she's already into you, that she already belongs to you. And so I can't help but wonder whether or not that kind of played a little part in what he was doing to her and causing the kind of dreams
Yeah.
manifest in her mind while she was sleeping, right? And she also admitted, you know, that this guy was not he wasn't
He
an
was an
unattractive
unattractive
guy.
guy. Yeah.
The only thing unattractive about him was his persona.
He just tries too hard.
Yeah, he was a bit of a sleazebag, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of a bad boy, and we've kind of heard
Yeah.
what girls really think of the bad boys. Yeah, right. So, you know, if this guy is not an unattractive guy and he's already positioning himself when he speaks to you, you know, we call that frame, right?
Yeah.
That you are already going
Prime-
out,
prime-
you're already, you're priming them,
Yeah.
right? That you're attracted to them. Maybe he's kind of, once again, inceptionizing the idea into her mind.
Yeah. I
That's it, though.
No, I think that's what I love about this particular confession and why we can dissect it in so many ways to Sunday is that based on just a confession alone, we don't have enough details to pinpoint straight up that this guy was using magic. There was no description of it. It was just said that the lady, who's a meek, petite lady, had lots of dreams. And let's face it, girls, guys, we all have fantasies, right? And his rape case may not have anything to do with black magic at all.
Yes. So that led me to my next point. What's to say he did not actually rape her, right? Because if this guy has a record and eventually he was caught for actually raping
Yes.
somebody, it is not too hard to believe that maybe he drugged her or something like that. And she's having flashback memories of a case where she got drugged and actually physically raped. And he could have done this multiple times to different people before he eventually got caught.
So what we are saying as a possibility was that she might have been
Yes,
either
actually
willfully
raped.
or
Yeah.
because she was raped, maybe because of the trauma, she just kind of blocked it out, and it appears in the form of a dream, right? But also it could be because when she was doing the act, she might have enjoyed it, and thus, because of the guilt, because of the stigma, the dream became I was enjoying it, but when I wake up, I feel disgusted. So a part of her memory wiped out that time that it happened. We're talking about psychology.
Do you think it happened more than once? I mean, because different women, right? There were she spoke to other women
Maybe
who
it
had
happened
also
once.
experienced
I think
that
if it
as
happened
well.
more than once, she will not be likely to lie to herself. But I think it may
No,
have
what I'm
happened.
saying is he did the same thing to her that he did to somebody else.
Yes. But okay, so we talk about the reality side. But based on the confessions, based on the comment section that I'm looking at now, people are saying it could have been Hantu Raya. Are you familiar with Hantu Raya? Does it not like? Okay.
Is it the same Raya in Hari Raya? No, right? Different Raya, right?
Okay. The same Raya, the word Raya, because in the 70s and the 80s in Singapore, when we were moving from kampong to modern days, the Hantu Raya apparently was one of the most common phenomena. And what the phenomena was and it's well documented, by the way, as well documented as a particular saint in Singapore also was claimed to have a Hantu Raya. That was how prolific Hantu Raya was. It is said that some spiritual practitioners, some very religious masters, have kept a doppelganger of themselves. And that doppelganger is called the Hantu Raya. So in one very famous case of a saint that was put into a prison during the British occupation time, while he was serving time in prison behind bars, his image was walking around town freely and people saw him, but he couldn't have been two places at one time. So that doppelganger effect was called the Hantu Raya. And Hantu Raya, in terms of the lore and legend of the Malay mythology, was that if I am a powerful practitioner, I could be a holy man. And I'm not necessarily a bomo, it's not talking about black or white here. I could be a very holy man, and when I pass away, I may use my Hantu Raya to perform good deeds in my state. And some of that deeds, as the ladies have pointed out, was to perform the roles of a husband. And if you believe the legend, the Hantu Raya was better than most husbands because he doesn't need to take a break. So when people are talking about Hantu Raya here, that's what they are trying to allude to, that this person may be having a doppelganger effect.
Okay, so Hantu Raya and his sidekick Tongkat Ali.
The Hantu Raya don't need the Tongkat Ali.
Okay, very cool. Someone just actually texted in, not up for a call, but this person, let's just call him Jayla, okay, has texted in someone with the actual instructions for a night ritual.
Oh,
Yeah. So I don't think we can put it up, but I will share it with you, and maybe next week, if we got chance, when we do our little thing, you can do this ritual.
so what's the ritual supposed to execute? Like, what is it supposed to get? Like, get me a succubus, or what's supposed to do?
Lust and sexual attraction.
Okay, so my co-host on the ground next week is a man. And
Okay, enjoy. Well done.
I mean, I know he's straight, but if this spell works, then will probably turn him to the other side. I mean, I'm irresistible, right?
Who's gonna get impregnated? You or him?
Him lah. I'm the
You're the what?
apex alpha. Right. So it's so good to be meeting that guy again, because many of you may not remember him, but if you watch some of my older videos, he was featured in one of my video as a rookie paranormal investigator at the same place where he's going to be doing the investigation next week.
Okay. So if anybody wants to call, please do. But I think we should also talk about what's happening next week, lah.
Okay.
Because we've been kind of vague about it.
Okay. You go ahead. I'll back you up.
All right. So have we settled on the name? Are we going to call it that?
PR.
PR? We're going to call it our PR campaign. Okay. PR, all right, stands for Paranormal Recon. Thank you. It took hours on ChatGPT before we could finally come up with that name. All right, so Paranormal Recon is going to be a collaborative effort, and Eugene mentioned, as far as he knows, this has never actually been done in Singapore before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's going to happen is it's going to be a team up between RPS and Supernatural Confessions, all right? It will see the Baba Bros all back together again. It will be myself, will be Eugene Tay, and of course, it'll be E.T., all right? And also representing RPS will be Sham, okay? Sham will be following Eugene to, where are we going to?
Somewhere in the east side that is known to have lots of suicides.
Ooh.
And it's not illegal. We can do filming there.
Yeah.
And if you are around the area and you want to pop by and say hi to us, well, we welcome you.
Can help them with the ritual, the attraction and lust ritual. Oh my god, you sleazy bro. Okay, all right, so we're basically going to be sending them to this place. All right, they will have cameras on them, mounted on them. They will be conducting investigations. They will be checking stuff out.
Oh my lord, the people have not gotten a place right. They're thinking Bedok Reservoir. Please don't go Bedok Reservoir.
No. It all will be revealed soon, okay? Because Eugene is working on the material, on the promotional material, okay? And essentially, we will be patching their video feeds back to Command Center, aka Alvin de Cruz's house. Alvin de Cruz will be joining us as well, okay? All right, so Alvin, our smooth operator, will be back.
Oh,
all right,
Lord.
Our voice of the voicelet, he's going to be operating the whole sequence, okay? Both E.T. and myself will be in our respective homes doing all the hard work in the very
this feels like pre-COVID, right?
Icon. Yes, right. And then we will be hosting. E.T. will be giving his, he'll be giving what his thoughts, his critique on what's going on, telling the boys what maybe they should do. They'll be feeding that back questions. And because we managed to test it out tonight, you guys will be able to call in to the stream as well, talk to ET and myself about what you think is going on, and also you'll be able to talk directly to Sham and Eugene, who are on site, to tell them what you think they should be doing.
Why do I feel like I'm getting the short end of the stick?
Why? You're getting all the excitement, bro.
Huh?
You got all the excitement.
In a sweaty, demonic, entrenched location that people have gotten possessed before. No aircon.
I'll tell you what. I will Mac delivery food to you.
Okay.
Or Food Panda
20
supper to you. Okay?
piece nugget and honey mustard.
Okay. So, so we're going to see whether or not we can pull this whole thing off. But the key to this entire thing, to this project, is interaction. And we want you to be a part of it as well. And to feel like you're a part of the show, being able to direct it. It's almost like, okay, like back in the day, all right, and this is really going to age us. The older ones are going to remember, choose your own adventure. Right? Do you remember choose your own adventure? It's like, all right, so-and-so is here. Should he turn left, turn right?
Go to page. Go to
Yes.
243 or go to page
So-
567.
Yeah. So you will be controlling the joystick that maneuvers Sham and Eugene wherever we go or wherever they go lah.
Yeah. Take
Okay.
a look at the comment section. Kurang hajar these people. They said Herman Kumar said short end of the stick like 6 inches, and then then she says Eugene is the stick. Nah. Okay, sabo kau. Grace say.
Some people want to know whether they can actually be there live.
Okay. Okay. So I wanna be immersive, but at the same time, I also want to be authentic with the investigation, because if you know me, bro, like when I go for investigation, like the one you see at Simi and everything, I'm in my zone,
Yes.
right? And if I'm in my zone, I do apologize in advance. I'm not there to entertain the crowd during the investigation, which means I want to be left alone, and I don't want to have a crowd standing there affecting the energy, sound, whatever. So if you come down, it is a public place. We're not going to stop you from coming down. But please understand, we are filming, we are shooting, we are doing proper investigation. After we cut, I will be your best friend. But when I'm in a zone, I will ignore you because I am doing my thing, right? So
And also because he doesn't know whether or not you are a real person.
but I
Or
got
some momo that just appeared.
I got a
somewhere.
charm spell on, right? So I will assume that most of you will be attracted to me.
Then it definitely must be a momo, bro.
Someone say Kuelin. Hello, have you not been hearing the messages? East side, bro. East side. Not Kuelin. East side. Samuel Yen, thank you so much, brother. Oh my God, that's a very generous blessing for you. Thank you so much, bro. And I mean, to all our, I think we have one person who joined us as a member tonight. If you want to support Supernatural Confessions, there's a join button. It only costs $3 that you can actually get a little icon beside your name, and when you put up stuff, I can know that you're a member. Or if you want to sign up with us as a Patreon because you want to have a long-term commitment with us, go to patreon.com/supernaturalconfessions, and you have your basic tier, mid tier, top tier. It gives you different kind of exclusive content that most people don't get. But then again, for those of you who are not a Patreon, are you FOMOing right now and going like, oh, I'm missing out everything? No, what we're going to give patrons are stuff that's behind the scenes that, quite frankly, only patrons and those people who are in love with Supernatural Confessions would want to see. The generic audience is like, why am I seeing all this? Right? So it's not going to take away experience from the fans. It's going to give more experience to those who really want that experience. And also, if you just want to do a one-off, there's a $sign there. Click on it, put any amount of money you want. A big, bright yellow box will pop out and we'll read your message.
Oh, Elisha?
Yeah, Elisha
bought
Matthias.
us 3 coffees. Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Pass
Do
it.
we actually see the coffee? Like, does it actually translate into coffee?
I don't know where that coffee is.
Okay.
Elijah, you want to tell us where that coffee is?
Yeah. What coffee is this?
Yeah.
Is this kopitiam coffee? Is this
Starbucks
those
coffee.
super atas Arabica bean coffee?
Can I get a shout out, Eugene? Coffee for you and team Elijah Matthias. Elijah Matthias, ladies and gentlemen, getting coffee for
Wait.
team. And
See? Get applause.
buy me a coffee. So this tells me Elijah Matthias is old school. You know why? Because buy me a coffee is at least 3 to 4 years old.
Oh, you mean they don't do that anymore?
I've not put up the link in 3 to 4 in the last
okay.
2 years. So when she does that, I know she's old school. Tim, coffee's on me. Sorry, coffee's on Elijah.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Okay. So anyway, back to the whole paranormal recon.
Ooh.
If this works next week, and this is why we need all your support, okay? If this works, both in terms of interest, in terms of engagement, in terms of stuff just not fucking up, okay, from a tech standpoint, you know, we could be motivated and inspired to do more of these type of projects in the future. And we've already been like thinking, right, brainstorming, like, where are the possible locations we can do this? In fact, at some point, Eugene Tay was like, maybe we should take this overseas.
Bro, you only told me it's one time only. I agreed to one time. I didn't agree to the...
Sorry, it wasn't with you. Alamak. Sorry, I was taking the conversation. So I thought you were in the conversation.
You said one time. I agreed to one time. That's it. That's all, folks. One time.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what. How about it's all what did the late great John used to say? It's all about the
Details.
It's all about the
what is it?
It's all about the community.
Oh shit.
Okay. So if the community asks for it, we are bound by a love for John to make sure that it happens.
Oh, you're going to use the John card. Oh. Wow. Okay. I will do one next week and maybe one after, but we got to have, the thing about this, I don't think anybody will want to watch us, bro.
You don't think anybody is going to want to watch
3-hour show, someone just walking around in potentially haunted place and nothing happens.
Okay, all right. So let's ask. If this works as well as we hope that it's going to work, would you like to see more missions, more paranormal recon projects, and would you even be willing to suggest locations we could do this in? Let us know.
I'm gonna put this on a vote. Would you like Team O and Eugene to do more collabs? Okay, bro, I'm gonna take a piss because I drank too much tonight. You talk about community. You talk to them for the next 60 seconds. I'll be back.
Is that how long it takes for you to piss?
I piss fast.
You sit down, is it, when you pee?
And wipe as well.
Alamak. Okay.
back to
I'm going
front.
to vote. Okay, you go and Siam, and I will talk. All right. So I'm going to vote. Would you like
Can I
Tim
go
or
pee?
Eugene do more collabs? Okay. All right. You can go pee. Go pee. All right. So it's been a while since I have been here at SC, and I do see some familiar names. Hello, Angel the Wolf. How are you, darling? It's been a long time. Sean. There's Paris, Ewan, Lincoln, Gabby. Thank you very much. All of you are so optimistic and so positive, right? Eugene just now is like, no, nobody's going to want to watch. Nobody's going to be enthusiastic. You guys are proving that you are very, very enthusiastic. So thank you so much. Okay. Now, the next person I'm going to have to convince is E.T. because E.T. also get older, also a bit grumpier as well. Everything is the EMF. So we will have to rope him in at some point. The one that is very, very optimistic at the moment is Sham. Sham loves doing all this stuff, right? He will just hang out, right, in the forest by himself for no reason at all. So getting him on board for Paranormal Recon was actually the easiest. So he can't wait to actually do this.
But he's a skeptic, isn't it?
Sometimes depending. Like I feel when he is out in field because he commando, then everything got a reason. But then when he's doing it for fun, then everything is the hunt.
Okay. So I have the result. I'm going to end poll right now. We have about 101 votes. So 97% says they do not want us to have another collaboration. Only 3% says yes. So the community has spoken.
Hey, what rubbish lah? Change your glasses, can you change your glasses? Change your glasses lah, okay? Read it properly. What was that? Yes, 97%.
Kelong lah, all these are RPS fans lah, I swear.
2% said no, okay?
No.
And by the way, you worded it wrongly, no? It's not just more collabs. It's specifically Paranormal Recon, okay? Which means you actually have to go out in the mosquito-infested, sweaty, hot, haunted, keras places, to do what you do best.
I swear, and you guys are hearing it here first. Even Tim doesn't know it. I would do it. One day, I'm going to put up a poll to ask how many of you would like to see a reverse situation where Timo is now in the field and I'm in the aircon room, and I'll bet you that's 97 too.
If by field you mean I'm in a haunted place that happens to be air conditioned.
Hello. No.
Happens to become, I know, like a movie theater, a haunted cinema where it's nice and cool, macam gold class. That gold class cinema, that Golden Village gold class cinema, haunted. Okay. I will investigate that one. Right next to the snack bar.
There we go. Take a look what KS said. 100% Tim in the field, bro. RSVP Grace says, of course we want to see Tim. At the haunted location. Hey, bro. What would John say? What would John say in times like this? Always listen to the community. It seems to me the community has spoken.
Sorry, bro, you're cutting out. I cannot hear you. Hello? Cannot hear. Hello? Sorry, tech issues.
Oh, buddy, I miss you so much, man. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be in the field one of those days. And it's almost going to be 12 o'clock. We got to say goodbye because you know how Timo and Eugene wants to be on the mic. It's going to be a 3-hour-long conversation. The only difference is now Tim doesn't have to cut the fucking podcast. I do.
Yeah. I think that deserves an applause.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, check us out again on the 21st of February. Myself, I'll be coming back with you on Friday Night Live. I'm not sure if we're going to have that live phone call again. That really depends on the community and on Timo. But definitely 22nd of February, we will be at Pasir Ris Suicide Tower doing filming and investigation. Do come down, but please also forgive us if we are filming and we don't speak to you while we are filming. But once the camera goes off, I'm your best friend once again. Okay?
Okay. And also, most importantly, okay? Share with your friends, tell your kawans and your kakis to tune in as well and to also engage with us that night. Because if we're going to be making, Eugene jump through hoops, if we're going to advise how he's carrying out his investigation, we actually need y'all to call in, okay? To text in, be a part of the show. To be able to guide him on what he should be doing.
The community has also spoken. They wanted to know what's the message on John, which I promised the community that I will tell before we get off tonight. Okay. Alsatian Adrian. Eugene, first episode, FNL till 1 a.m. Okay. And the Ouija board thing. True story. All jokes aside, I'm going to be revealing some very personal things that's happened to me. I don't think I shared this with you, Tim. This is probably the first time for you to hear. So feel free to chime in as well, right? We know that John passed away on the 20th of January. His death cert said 23rd of January because that's where we found him. And if you've seen some of the videos where I had I released one video to inform the community. I had a live stream session of his funeral and a eulogy. As I was doing all this, I was very mindful about respecting John, respecting his family. It was not done lightly. The announcement had to be made because, frankly, on that day, my phone was just going off. It was just, what happened to John? And we had to address that. So I wanted to address that publicly. I wanted to address that at 10 p.m. as also on Friday night, and with any Friday Night Live was 10 p.m. It was not till 10:50 that I sat down and finally clicked the live button. And even then, having 50 minutes of preparation, it was tough as hell. The next day, when you guys actually asked to film or stream John's funeral, I was reluctant. I did not want in any way, shape, form to come across as he was exploiting John's memory. And I felt live streaming his funeral would be exploiting him, and I did not want to do it. But his family and sisters and some of his friends who were not in Singapore couldn't attend the funeral, and they wanted the live stream. And with the family's blessing and agreement, and in fact, even motivation and encouragement, that I then did the live stream. And the feedback from the community, those who couldn't make it down for the funeral, was actually very pleasant. And my concerns and fears about exploiting John was unfounded, because I think on site only 100 people could come, and off site we have 12,000 people actually watching the funeral. So that was a good thing. And people were saying, "Oh, would you do a memorial? Would you do a video, etc., etc.?" On one hand, I wanted to do, honestly, hand on heart, I wanted to create a memorial video for John. And instead, I just did a eulogy. And to me, that was the end of a chapter to remember a very close friend of mine and a very integral part of Supernatural Confessions. The reason I didn't want to go further than that is, again, at the very baseline, I'm very, very concerned about what community thinks, because that's what John is concerned about. Are we milking him in his afterlife? And that was never, ever something I wanted to do. So I do invite you guys, if you have any clips of John within the Supernatural Confessions universe that you want to share with me, I'm happy to put them together, but I don't think that initiative should come from me. So after that 3 videos, it was done. But that being said, I did invite John to come to my house, come to me and share his vision, share the promise that he made to me that he's going to pass me a message should one of us die first. And I think John did. As much as I am very intuitive and spiritually trained now compared to I was 10 years ago, when you are in a very heavy emotional state, you do not want to jump to the very first sign or message and then conclude it as it was the message from the other side, or it is the message from the other side. So as much as I think I'm getting messages, I still got to be very rational-minded. A very far cry, Tim, from must be the Hantu Eugene Tay that was doing the live show 6 years ago. And I kind of ignored a lot of the signs. But on the day after his funeral, on the day of his funeral, Murali came to my house, and I have an operating Ouija board in my room. And the question to me was, do you want to use this to connect to John? I said, you know what? If you ask me to contact to anybody else, I would. But to use the Ouija board to contact John, I feel personally it might be an insult. But that's all me personally, right? So I kept I knew where the Ouija board was. It's not that I kept it. I knew where it was. It was there for like the last many years. That night, when I was watching television and my wife was asleep, the cupboard where I kept my Ouija board started vibrating. And mind you, the cupboard that I have is a 100-year-old vintage cupboard with a very heavy door. And it has never moved at all in the 6 years that I've gotten this cupboard. That night, it goes, right? I turned to look at the cupboard, and I thought maybe it's my imagination. My 2 cats also turned to look at the cupboard, and they stared at the cupboard the whole time. Like, if there was a sound, they would turn to look, and then they would go away. But this time, they were looking at the cupboard as if they were looking at something else. I did not do anything. I did not react to it. I did not open the cupboard. I did not do the Ouija board. I did not. All I said was, John, was that you? And there was no sound after that. So I ignored it. The next day, I was doing housekeeping with Belinda. Belinda is part of Supernatural Confessions. She also knows John. She has the third eye. So in the Supernatural Confessions community, that was what she was famous for. She has the third eye. If any of you watch housekeeping, you will know that she has stuff on the cupboard and it started falling off the cupboard. And later on, post-show, after the camera has stopped rolling, she showed me around the room and says, how can these items fall off where they were unless someone had actually pushed it off? And she told me, I think it's John trying to remind me to tell you what is the message that he passed to me. And I said, I know John passed you a message because you told me John passed you a message, but you were so frightened, you didn't want to tell me. And 1 week after John's funeral, you still refused to talk to me. And she says, because it's so fresh, I did not want to open up old wounds. And so I said, if that's a message, then tell me, right? He says, okay. I cannot in any way, shape, form, verify what I'm about to tell you is true, but I am just going to share with you what I believe is John's message. Is that okay? I said, okay. And she had a message for me to pass to John's family members, and she also had a message for me. And she said, John says he's very sorry he couldn't do Friday Night Live with you. He wanted to be here very, very badly. But now he's off on a new adventure. And he has passed you a message, but you're just kind of ignoring him. Like, kind of make me feel bad, right? So I said, okay. And then when she left the conversation, the next morning she told me, John appeared in my vision again and said, thank you for passing the message to Eugene. I can now take my leave. Okay? So at this point, at this juncture, we still don't know whatever that Belinda has told me is true or not. Because it is just a message passed to Belinda to pass to me. Full stop. To me, to the family. So I took whatever I recorded from Belinda and I sent it verbatim, the whole video to John's family. And I asked for permission. I said, Belinda, who has a third eye, said she talked to John. Are you okay if I send you the video? Do you want to or do you not want to? Like, if you say no, it's fine because let us all move on and heal and recover. Let's no need to rehash old stuff. But they said, okay, send it to me. I sent it to them and they asked a few questions like, how does Belinda know all this? I said, I don't know. Belinda just told me that. And they said, whatever Belinda has said resonated with them, and only they would understand how true that message was because we were just passing a message. I said, okay, that's great. And then come the kicker, Tim. This is where it was very hard for me to accept, right? And this is me being in the paranormal. This is me being in Mr. Supernatural and Mr. Prince of Paranormal. It was, even then, talking about going to the other side and coming back to the message. It was so hard for me to accept this message for him. That night, this was 30th, 31st. So even before the message with Belinda, I had a dream and I typed it out and I talked about it on air, even before the family knew about it. And I said, I was in a dream where I was doing a live show with Jonathan Lim. And for some reason, I was on site. And my site that I was on was in a ballroom. And like 3 of the walls were ballroom, like typical hotel ballroom. But on one side of the wall was an airport. The type the plane was there. You could see the plane in the distance and you would go past the security check and you fly off. Like in the check-in already. So I was on the live show, and I was there on location, and I was trying to connect to John. I said, John, I can't hear you. Fuck, John, I can't hear you. And he was talking, but I couldn't hear what he was trying to say. And I was like, "Wow, my headphones was off. The you know how we run Video Ninja, right? We have like a refresh and try to come back in again. So I was like doing everything I can just try to hear what John has to say. And during that time, I was trying to sort out all the technical error. Behind me in the ballroom, where I was in my dream, were old people dancing ballroom dancing. Like bum 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 bum. And it got closer and closer to me, which I was very irritated because I was trying to solve a tech issue. And for some reason, like there was a jump in storyline and narrative, and next thing, John was there in person. And he told me, it's okay. Go run the show without me. You got this. I said, where are you going to go? I said, I'm just going to... John said, I'm going to do ballroom dancing. And he went off to the aeroplane, and they take off wherever he's going with this whole group of ballroom dancers. When I saw him, he was in a blue bucket hat, black shirt with what I recognize as floral prints, which is like leaf and all that. A very weird, eclectic combination. Have I seen John in a blue bucket hat before? Yes. Have I seen John in a shirt? Fucking rarely. John's always in a t-shirt with a fan around his neck. So to see him in a blue bucket hat, black short sleeve shirt with floral prints is a very, very unique, distinctive description that you don't find common. And that was what I remembered. That was what I said on air, on housekeeping. I recorded it. The sister saw. And the sister said, do you mean this outfit? And they sent me a photograph of the outfit that they placed in John's casket for the cremation. And mind
Which
you,
you hadn't seen yet.
it's a closed casket.
Yeah.
I mean, understandably so, 4 days after, right?
Yeah.
Closed casket, clothes for plain sight. No one's going to ask, so what kind of clothes you
They
place
put him in
the-
a bucket hat?
I mean, because they couldn't put anything on him. So they place it with
Yeah,
him.
no. So I mean, I think that's kind of cute that they gave him a bucket hat, you
Yeah.
know, in his casket. Yeah.
And when they sent me the photograph of the clothes that they put in the casket, oh
was the same.
my Lord, it was exactly the same as I seen him in my dreams.
Yeah.
Now, if we talk about coincidence, what are the odds of a blue fucking bucket hat, black shirt, and floral print? Who wears I mean, John, I love you and all that. That's bad fashion sense, man. Bad fashion sense. Man.
Look at you
fugly
being
in
all
the afterlife.
judgy.
Yeah. I mean, John, you look fugly in your afterlife, man. Blue bucket hat and black floral print. So when they sent me that, I'm like, where do you then draw the line with not wanting? And this is me being supernatural confessions. I should believe. I should be easily believing this. But when it happens to me, there's so much on my head trying to shoehorn every rational thought into my consciousness that maybe it's just a coincidence. But I know in my hearts of hearts, blue bucket hat, black floral print, fuck you lah. No one's going to wear that ugly shit lah. It's only John. But the beautiful message that he had for me was, I'm on an adventure now. And he bowed to, the message that came to Belinda later, he bowed to Belinda in her hands this way and says, I'm off to an adventure. Eugene got this. Carry on with FNL.
An adventure that involves ballroom dancing.
So now I cannot imagine this bearded man with blue bucket hat going pum 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 tum 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 tum.
No, that one is tango.
I question Jonathan's afterlife taste.
Oh, come on. It sounds like he's having a ball of a time. Get
Ah! Yeah, so that's the message that John gave me, and I mean the Ouija board. I did not use the Ouija board, not for John, out of respect, but my cupboard. So when you know the talk 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 sound, right? So
Yeah, and to be honest, right, if I think ET would say the same thing to you. Bro, don't mess with Ouija boards, okay? We've heard about a lot of people. In fact, you have told us about a lot of people who use the Ouija boards to reach out to people, and what comes back is not necessarily who they were intending to try and reach out to.
bro, I used the Ouija board 2 weeks ago. Not for John though. But
Ooh, what? You ordering Domino's? Is it? Cannot use the phone.
there was an artifact that I have in my possession that
Yes.
I can't show you guys, but it had a spirit, and we wanted to communicate.
But how do you know that is the
I
spirit
don't
that
know
you are
because I had
communicating with?
Murali with me in the house.
Oh, okay.
So Murali, that I trust to be the spiritual practitioner. So I offloaded to a professional lah. And then he came in and says, okay, let's do it. You want to do this? Sure. But the good thing about it is let's lock your place. So I was not doing it unsupervised. I was doing it with supervision. So we locked the place. We had a communication. And I recorded it. But Tim, I will tell you, the recording is pointless because I did not get... Unlike the movies where you get very clear
You
answers,
see the planchette moving across the board.
the planchette didn't move. And if you look at the video, like my fingers were just like vertical, placing very lightly, and so did Murali, and it just moved. So the movement, I believe, is real, but there was no clear answers that gives you the answer to lives. And this was also before CNY, $12 million total draw. I didn't win, so fuck you, spirit. Fuck you.
He wouldn't be sitting here if he had won. I still think he'd be doing supernatural confessions.
I would.
Probably from like a Joe Rogan-esque type studio, multi-million-dollar
Okay,
facility.
baby.
All right. How are you doing though? I mean, how are you doing in the aftermath of John's passing?
It's a good question. I think many people ask me that, and I appreciate you asking me this on air as well, because then it gives me, it allows me to drop all the facade and tell you how I really feel. I mean, do I feel sad? Do I miss him when I run?
Has it sunk in? Because I know obviously sometimes you've been really busy, you've had stuff to do, you were involved in, in his funeral, dealing with his parents, which had got to be fucking difficult to do, right? With his family who was overseas.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're dealing with grief, because you're so busy with all these things, you don't really get a chance to let it sink in.
No, I think I had proper grief, because don't forget, when you guys knew about it after I announced it, I had days to grieve before it and days to grieve after it, and I was there every step of the way, even down to going to his house, to cleaning his house along with some of his best friend. So I think because I was blessed with the ability to, an opportunity to be within or inside John's life and handling it from now, from before, from the funeral to after, to even managing his house, I feel the word is blessed and privileged. Like, if I didn't have this to deal with, and I'm like very distant and overlooking at John's preparation and everything that's happening, I would feel a lot of regret that I wasn't able to do something. But I think being able to go to his house and cleaning up his shit and opening up his private stuff, and me talking to him, either myself, my head, or my consciousness, gives me that closure. If you know what I mean? Like, we're trying to divide between paranormal and rational thought here.
Yeah.
Like, the grieving is being able to grieve properly and find that closure. It's so important. And I feel that John, or the opportunity that I had to do with John, was there. And I would not have done this FNL if I didn't think I was ready. So I was able to laugh, I was able to smile, I was able to do it in his memories, sing his song. It was not all a pretend, because it was all real. Like, I'm feeling it right now as I'm talking to you. It's for his memory. And I know John will say, ha 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 ha. Allow, show must go on lah. Hey, think. Community is watching you now. We'll do it.
There you go.
And he's a big fan of you too. We talk about you all the time, Tim.
Oh, that sounds creepy.
You don't.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't know John clearly as well as you did. But in the few times we got a chance to chat, he always struck me as a really cool guy. And obviously because we had a lot of common friends, who knew him in the theater and in
yeah.
television because he was a director and all that. Nobody I know had anything bad to say about him at all.
Yeah. I mean, Grace is right on this side. He'll say, rubbish like you, in his typical bearded John
Yeah.
way. Yeah. Anyway, to John. Thank you so much for watching us today. This is Friday Night Live 2025. And with me, my buddy, the pioneer, Team O from Radio Paranormal Singapore. And
Own self give applause. Own self. Thank you.
all right, Jason Lim came in last minute with his $5 blessing for us. John says, Eugene, I can finally go JB without queuing at custom. Just float through. You think. If the dream I had was any true, there was a queue in the airport as well. Next week, we will be back. What was going to happen in 2025, just share with you guys. I will not be finding a new co-host to replace John. That's not what I'm going to be doing. But I think what John and I had already planned is to have an open door policy, a rotating door policy where new host is going to come in, guest host is going to come in, and the people that you love, you remember, nostalgic, new names and all that, we're coming in to put their mark onto Supernatural Confessions' new era. And you guys, ladies and gentlemen, also get a chance to call in and talk to us. Today, many of you were shy, but we had Augustus. Who else did we have? Sean?
Eli? Yeah, Eli?
Yeah.
Sorry, I remember her name. We had Sean, we had Augustus. Yes, hopefully next week there will be more.
Yeah, and taking this entire show to directions that I have no fucking clue what is going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
But 22nd of February, do join us either on RPS on Facebook or Supernatural Confessions on YouTube, where you'll find Timo, Eugene Tay, Sham, and myself, Eugene Tay, the Prince of Paranormal, streaming live from one of Singapore's most haunted locations. How are you going to do this, bro? How are you going to say goodnight?
Oh, I forgot. Okay, so till next time, this is Timo asking, is it the Hantu?
And this is Eugene Tay saying goodbye, and it must be the Hantu. Good night.
Till
everyone.
next time on Supernatural Confessions.
What did you find? You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.